Right, welcome to UK Casuals football show. I do apologise, I've got a bad throat, so you won't hear me very well. This week, we've got Martin King back with us, and I'd just like to say in the future, we will have a guy called Dave Cass. He's author of Shenanigans, a QPR's casual history. He's been on the podcast before. From now on, he will be joining us. He will be joining us regularly. So, Martin, you missed last week.
Yeah, you put it down on injury, but I missed the team bus, and you fined me for that. Quite a hefty fine, and I'm back in training this week. It's lovely to be back and on the show again. And I missed last week's predictions with you and Gary, but I've got my own if you want me to reel them off.
Yeah. So
right.
Let's go through your predictions of the winners and the losers then.
Right, Premier winners, I've got Chelsea, obviously after our draw yesterday, which was a brilliant defensive display. And we'll speak about more on that in a minute. Man City finished runners-up. Relegated, Norwich and Brighton. Championship, I fancy Stoke for some reason. Big club, good fan base. And Fulham, they're doing all right under the new manager. Relegated, Peterborough and Coventry. League One, I fancy Goldie's team, Sunderland and Bolton, who've had a shit couple of years, but come back. Yeah, I like Goldie and his label. And Bolton, who have had a shit couple of seasons, but are another big club, got a lovely stadium. Fancy them to come on strong. Relegated, Wycombe Wanderers, who are an up-and-down yo-yo team. And Accrington Stanley, I fancy them to go down, because I sound like a Scouser. But no, not really. But I just think they're another team who ain't really got the resources to keep afloat in that league. Right. League Two, I fancy Swindon. I've got a big fan base.
Always have had. Yeah, and a good side. They've got some good young players there, and I fancy Leyton Orient. I do fancy Orient. I think it's about their time. They've been out the league, in the league, and now they're back. And I think they've got a good fan base and all, got a good solid support. Orient. I think they'll do it. Bristol Rovers have always sort of been around the bottoms of the divisions and getting relegated. So I think it's going to be their time this season. And Tranmere. I think Tranmere are another team, been out the league, back in the league. National League, only one team in it for me. I've always liked Wrexham. My old mate Wrexham, Neil Williams, who sadly died a couple of years ago. I used to go to Wrexham with him when I was at Round London era. And they done the big Hollywood sign this week in Wrexham. I think the two American owners have put a big Hollywood sign on a rubbish sort of dump tip outside Wrexham with Wrexham written on it in great big 20-foot high letters. And they had a good win yesterday, and I fancy Wrexham. Right, now, yesterday we played the Scruff Bin Dippers, Liverpool FC, and we got a 1-1 draw. And Reece James got sent off. As I said before, he even got sent off. I said to Marjan, Reece James is having a bad game. Yeah. He's misplacing passes. He can't cross the ball. He don't seem interested. Not like Reece James. He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but. And then we had that prick Anthony Taylor, the referee. He's already sent off two players of ours, Kovacic and Victor Moses, in the 2017 220 Cup final at Wembley. So he's not a Chelsea lover. He could have booked a few of the Liverpool players yesterday, but he never did. Salah kicked the ball away, which is a bookable offence, never booked him. There was a couple of tackles, might have even been a couple of red cards for Liverpool players. But anyway, we come away with a draw. The Scousers don't like it, and one of them's put up on social media, it's been brought to my attention, that apparently he walked past the pub in Liverpool, Wetherspoons, with me and all the Chelsea headhunters in it. Well, I wasn't even up in Liverpool, so they do like to tell a few lies. They're always the victims, so bless them, they're all fools. Go on. That was on the Transalpino page, Martin.
Transalpino, yeah. Well, before they advertised.
Are you sure that he meant Liverpool and not London?
No, apparently two of the other bin dippers said it was the name of a pub in Liverpool. So he didn't say it was London. His other said, "Oh, that's the so-and-so pub." And it's a thing from a film, Train Spotting, on one of them, Robert Carlyle film or something.
State.
That's it. He was in there. And if they're so smart and casual, have a look at that film. They're all got donkey jackets on and fucking flares and steel toe cap boots, and they're meant to be going to football. Okay. So there's my answer anyway. Well, I know they got the upper
on that, Martin. Just for a second. I have emailed Trans Alpinio to come on the podcast.
Yeah.
And dispute the origins of the casual scene, because obviously they've got what they think, you've got what they think, and I will just be here. I'll just be here to judge it, because your thoughts are your own. Just because you're on my podcast doesn't mean that I necessarily agree with you, but it doesn't mean I necessarily agree with them.
Right, let me just make one or 2 points before you say any more about this.
Yeah.
And then we won't mention it again. Let's get them on. I'm 65 years old. I've been through every fashion from mods. My brother was a mod. I used to buy the desert boots, all the mod stuff when I was 10 or 11. Been a skinhead, been a suede head, been a soul boy, like punk music, like soul music, like jazz funk. Been through everything, the Stone Island, the CP. Love me clothes. Like you love your trainers and you love your football club, and that's why you run a successful UK Casuals, right? So me and you have got something in common. We both like our gear.
Yeah.
I'm 65 years of age. Some of these geezers coming on commenting about me not knowing what I'm talking about are 35, 40 years of age. They weren't even fucking born when the fucking casual scene was about.
Yeah.
Unless you were there. It's like me talking about the fucking miners' strike. I didn't live up in Yorkshire. I don't know nothing about it. I was living in South London. So I can't talk about it. They're too young to remember the casual scene. And one thing I will say, if I was running a clothes shop, before I took photos of the stuff I'm selling, I'd fucking be sure to iron the cunting stuff. Because have a look at their page. They're the scruffiest bastards again. There's my point. I'll say them all. Get the geezer on. Let's have a proper chat. A nice, friendly little chat.
Civil.
Keep it civil.
Yeah.
If they can be.
But
they're always, like the other thing I said to you before, all their granddads and all their nans, every single fucking one of them, their granddad or their nan sat next to Paul McCartney or John Lennon at school. Fuck me, they must have had 60,000 kids in one school.
Very
they talk
big classroom.
Shit.
Yeah.
Fucking big classroom. That's all I'm going to say. They're full of shit. They've won one premiership in 30 years. 30 years won. And we've got no history. Fuck
Let's
off.
Get them on. Let's get them on. And
get them on. Get them on. Let's sort this out and get them on.
Let's end this once and for all.
Yes.
So
good.
The results yesterday, and I'm going to speak a little bit about the Arsenal result. 5-0. Hammering.
Yeah.
That's a hammering.
Could have been more.
Ian Wright was had to be consoled by his younger son, Sean.
Yeah.
Nearly in tears.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the manager? Obviously, they're calling for his head, aren't they?
Right. We spoke earlier, and I watch Arsenal TV because it really cheers me up because they're full of shit again. Yeah. They've all got these fake Jamaican accents, what you call fake Jamaians, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. None of them's ever probably been to Jamaica, where I have. I was born in Brixton, so I'm used to Jamaicans.
Yeah.
None of them have probably been to Jamaica. They all come out with this blood and, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Chicken shops, all I call it.
Yeah.
Right, anyway, that is very entertaining because they're so sad. They wanted to get rid of Wenger. So they got rid of Wenger after 25 years, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it was his time to go, but he had the crowd all wanted it. Most of the crowd wanted him to go. And then they brought in the Spanish geezer who looks like Dracula. He lasted about 18 months and they fucked him off out of it. Now they've got Arteta. When he first came, they had a couple of good results. It's the best thing since sliced bread. He spends 120 million on players no one's ever heard of from Africa and Russia or wherever. No one's ever heard of them.
Bad signings.
Bad signings. But Pep Guardiola said yesterday, he worked under Pep at Man City as his assistant. Even Pep said, this man knows football inside and out. Told Arsenal, stick with him. I totally agree. You can't keep chopping managers like Chelsea. We chop managers and we win something. You know what I mean? We get rid of them.
I thought I read something that Pep's leaving next year.
Yes, yeah.
Why do you think that is, Martin?
I don't know where he's going to go. He's been to Barcelona, he's been to Bayern Munich, he's been at Man City. Where's he going to go? Unless he's had it with football. I
tipped Man City to win the league this year because of their signings and their. I think this time. Do you remember when everybody hated Man United because Man United were buying everybody? Man City has now took that mantle.
That mantle.
They're buying everybody and everyone hates Man City, and they're, you know, if they win the league, they bought it. But do you think Pep wants to leave on a high, or I don't get it?
That's what I would love to see Pep go to somewhere like Nottingham Forest or Middlesbrough, where he ain't got no money, and see what he can do with what he's given.
Really test his managerial skills. Yeah,
well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. You know, same with Jose Mourinho. He was at Porto. He came to Chelsea. First 2 seasons, brilliant. Football, not so good. Didn't appeal to me. But he made some brilliant signings. We won the league 2 years on the trot, and he was a good manager the first time he was there. But you take him away from somewhere where he ain't got no money, like Tottenham, they wouldn't give him no money. They give him a certain amount of money, and he struggled. And I think Pep would be the same. I think if he went to a smaller club, or if he went to Norwich, say he went to Norwich, would he be as good? Would he be able to coach these Norwich players?
Exactly.
Be good? Or,
like I said, managerial skills. You've just mentioned Tottenham, and I spoke on the podcast last week with Gary about this Harry Kane saga. Now, if a player wants to go, my opinion is sell him.
Yes, and me too. Yeah.
Why try and keep hold of him if you don't want to play for the team? If his heart's not in your club, where he's gonna give 100% and play till he's, you know, got no breath left in his body, he doesn't want to be at Tottenham no more.
No,
sell him. I don't.
Well, he's never going to win anything. He's never going to win anything. He wants at the end of his career, he wants to sit down with his children and his grandchildren when he's older and say, "I remember when I won the Champions League. I remember when we won the league. I remember when." He ain't going to say that. He's running. He's probably got 3 or 4 years. He ain't the fastest of players, but his brain's quick. He's a good passer. He's a great finisher. Good header of the ball. But he's playing Tottenham. I think he lost his way a little bit last year. And with the England thing, when we done your podcast about England,
the Euros,
just didn't seem. He didn't seem interested in the Euros, did he?
He seemed off to be fair.
He did last 2 games. Yeah, but, he was good.
Yeah, like we said, the first 2 or 3 games in the group stages. I mean, if I was the England manager, I would have put him on the bench. To be honest, I think he should have had him on the field. But that's the Euros, and it's on.
Yeah.
Were there any other results that shocked you yesterday, Martin?
The other team who never give in, and it's that, what's his manager's name at Southampton, Hesselauer, or what his name is, the Southampton manager, Austrian or German. Yeah. He's got a Chelsea loan player and a right back from us, and he's sort of put them into the side, and they're playing really well. And he's got a team there at Southampton. They've normally sell all their big players after a couple of seasons, but he's built a good team who've got a real good team spirit. And I watched them on Match of the Day up at Newcastle, and they never give in. They kept going and going. And I think that was a good result for them up Southampton, up in Newcastle. I know Steve Bruce saying having the best of times up there. And I think he might be the first manager to get the sack this year. But
I missed Aston Villa's result yesterday. Did you catch it?
I think they won, didn't they? No, they drew 1-1 with Brentford.
Okay, because they lost their first match. Then last week they won 3-2. And now they drew. And
1-1.
I'm really happy for Villa because this is life after Jack Grealish. He's gone now. He was their star man without a doubt. So I'm glad Villa are actually, you know, can you imagine losing your star man and then you lose your first game of the season?
No. The fans won't. But I watched him yesterday, Matt, for Man City. And to tell the truth, they stuck him out on the left wing.
Right.
And he didn't see a lot of the ball in the first half. A couple of little tricks he does. But he didn't really do a lot. And then he sort of come to life towards the end of the half when he made a couple of goals. But for 100 million, I want someone to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and dominate it.
Yeah.
He did at Villa because he was a big fish.
I've always found with Jack Grealish that he plays for fouls, if you know what I mean.
He did yesterday,
Yeah, he always gets to outside the box, and then, which he did with England when he got a chance, which, by the way, going back to the Euros, he should have been given much more game time. in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we all said that. Me, you, and Gary Harris said that.
Yeah,
he should have done that.
He plays some fouls, and like you said, for that price tag, I'd expect a Gaza. You know.
Yeah, he's not a Gaza. If he's worth 100 million, what would Gaza be worth these days? 200 million.
Unbelievable.
Genius.
You know
Genius.
what? I can't even think of the price tag, Martin.
That's what I'm saying. But he's not a Gaza. He's good, but I think he drifts. I watched him a few years ago in the playoffs when Villa was in the playoffs against someone at Wembley. And after about 60 minutes, he completely lost interest. He didn't chase back. He didn't want the ball. And I'm thinking, you're such a talented boy, yet you're not imposing yourself on the game. And I think that's his problem. He loses a bit of concentration or a little bit of it. That loses interest.
Do you think, Martin, that now he's at Man City, which is a star-studded lineup? There's no doubt about it. They've got some very, very talented players. Where at Aston Villa, he was the big fish in a little pond.
Exactly. That's what I said.
Now he's a little fish in a big pond.
Yeah, and he's got to do it week in, week out.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to show his skill at Man City. I
think he's going to get sussed out. I think he's a skillful player, but he's a bit of a one-trick pony, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you put two players on him and you nullify him and don't let him get involved and get going, I think he's going to be... Well, I think teams will suss him out this year because he goes away and hides. I would play him as just off the centre forward, but they ain't got a centre forward, Man City. They've got rid of Aguero.
No, they haven't.
They're playing Jesus, whatever his fucking name is, out on the right wing, Jack on the left wing, and they've got no focal point in the middle. They're relying on the midfield to come in and act as their two forwards.
Yeah.
And that's a long, hard season. That's going to ask a lot of the players. I know they've got a big squad, and they bought Mahrez on yesterday. But it's going to be a tough thing.
I'd like to talk about the Cristiano Ronaldo saga. He was always going to go to Manchester. One minute he was a blue, the next minute he was a red, then he was a blue again, and then he was a red. What's your thoughts on that?
I would love him at Chelsea, even now. I think I would love him at Chelsea.
You still think he's got a lot left, even though he's in his 30s?
I think he could play for another. He keeps fit. He's always kept himself fit.
Yeah.
He's quick with his brain. He's quick with his feet. And the crowd would lift him. I would love him at Chelsea. I wish we'd have gone for him. Honestly, I think he's one of the best. Besides George Best was the best player I ever saw live. Mm-hmm. But Cristiano Ronaldo goes really close to what George Best could do. And maybe a little bit better in some departments with his heading. Because he can hang in the air and head balls. He's incredible in the air. But just basically, to lift the whole spirit of any club he goes to, Man United, I think he'll lift them again. They'll take them to another level. They made a couple of good signings. The French kid, Varane, at the back from Real Madrid. The young kid from Dortmund, who plays for England, the winger, what's his name? Can't think of his name. Anyway, I'm bringing in Ronaldo. That would have lifted Man City. They could play him as a centre forward if they'd have used their brains. But he's got to Man United. I think he's back at the club he loves. Ferguson's still in the background, but still there. He loves him as well. And the fans love him at Manchester. I would have loved him to come to Chelsea. I think he'll still be playing at 38, 39.
Do you think that when he was at Man United, he was very young, he was very hungry, he was up and coming. Obviously, this time at Man United, it's going to be a different feeling because he's very much now an established star. He's a player. Do you think that he's going to have the same hunger to what's the word?
I do, Matt. I know what you're saying. Do you think he's going to have that same hunger?
Yeah.
I think he will because he's kept himself fit. I mean, you have looked at the geezer, there ain't an ounce of fat on him, is there? But
nothing. No.
He's kept himself fit.
Toned is not the word. Yeah.
He's going to do all these young boys they've got coming through at United. They'll do his running for him. Imagine if he was a young kid in Man United's dressing room and he walks in. You think, fucking hell, it's Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
you've got to be on your game to
he's
play
got to
with
lift
him,
the
haven't you?
up.
Yeah.
Huh?
You've got to be on your game
definitely.
to play with him, to be a teammate.
Of course.
You're not going to go out there and have a mediocre game. You're playing with Ronaldo, you know, so.
Well, he's quick over 10, 12, 15 yards, really quick.
Yeah.
He ain't going to run up and down the wing all day. Free kicks, probably the best free kick specialist in the world.
Oh,
he can do anything.
How he can dip that ball over and under, I don't get that technique. Is just,
corners.
Yeah.
He can get higher than anybody I've ever seen. He can out-jump everybody from a corner.
Well,
so you've got to play
that, Martin. There's a YouTube video where they actually put the height of the ball that Ronaldo headed, and they challenged members of the public to try and head it, and they were getting nowhere near.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
I think one member of the public actually did it. And I'm just thinking that, like you said, he can hang in the air, almost like the Matrix.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it did look like he was going to Man City, didn't it?
Yeah, there was talk of him going to Man City, and he never went there. So he's back at United. Whether he had a choice of going anywhere else, I don't know. Whether he could have gone to PSG or wherever, but I think he must have regretted leaving Real Madrid and going to Juventus, because he went a bit stagnant at Juventus. Now, again, he had a couple of good games, but he's back in England, and the fans will love to see him again, because he's been the best player in the world.
Well, yeah.
I think all fans will get background that.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, will there be any Man United fans that hold a grudge because he nearly went to City?
No.
Because it did look like it was going, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, but there ain't many players gone from Man United, gone to other clubs, and come back and gone to Man City. And there ain't many players gone from Man United to Man City. Dennis Law, Brian Kidd, too. Yeah. And I think you'd struggle to name any others from. There ain't been one for about 30 years, I should think, or more. So, they'll just be pleased to have him back.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, Martin, before we finish up, I've got a little bit of a bone to pick with you.
Go on.
As everybody knows, I'm non-league, Weymouth Town.
Yeah.
Always have been. They played a Chelsea side behind closed doors, and Chelsea smashed us 13-0.
Yeah.
I'm not very happy with that at all. But you've got something to say about Tuchel afterwards, haven't you?
Well, we had 7 international players. I think it was 6 or 7 full internationals.
Right.
And after the game, Tuchel went and met all the Weymouth players. They all sat down in a big circle, and he thanked them for giving Chelsea a game, told them not to be disheartened, told them where he thought they were going wrong, give them a bit of a pep talk, patted them on the back. What a lovely man. What a man to do that. How many managers would be bothered? Most of them wouldn't even be bothered.
He didn't even have to be there, Martin.
No. To see his team play Weymouth, and he was there.
Yeah, exactly. Who at Weymouth doesn't...
That's why a lot of Chelsea fans, when he replaced Frank Lampard, because they love Frank, and I did as a player, but as a coach, I've said 1,000 times.
Yeah,
he reached the end of the road. He couldn't go any further. So Tommy Tuchel's come in. We've won the Champions League under him. We got to the cup final with him, and he's absolutely a brilliant manager, fantastic manager. So I think he'll go from strength to strength. If Chelsea give him the right funds to buy the players he wants, I think we're going to dominate for a couple of years under him. He's that good a man. Well, what a man. You watch him, and we've always said, though, Matt, at the end of the game, he's the first on the pitch. He'll shake the referee's hand, the opposing player's hand. He gives every single one of these players, gets them in an headlock, ruffles their hair, pats them on the back. Bit of banter. He's one of the boys. You know, and when he talks, he's one of the boys. So I love him. And it weren't no surprise to me he sat down with the Weymouth players after that, because that's the measure of the man.
Yeah.
He really is. He is what he is. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's one of the chaps, you know what I mean? So,
like I said,
fair play.
I've looked on the Weymouth on the Weymouth football website, and even though we got absolutely smashed 13-0 because we were playing against international players, they absolutely enjoyed the experience. And having someone like Tommy Tuchel to come down after and speak to you and to say, look, listen, this is what you should do for the rest of the season. You know, this is your best players. Because our manager at Weymouth, this is his first season as a manager.
Yeah, you said,
Personally, he should have applied his trade in the lower league before coming up to the National League South, which used to be the conference, but it's all different now.
Yeah. Well, apparently, as I say, he sat round with all the Weymouth players and said, don't lose heart.
Martin, what have you got coming up on SW6 Blues Pride of London?
We've got Martin Knight coming up, which we've already recorded. I've got Bully, Gaetano Buglioni from Chelsea, and I've got the Queen of Stamford Bridge, Barbara. She's coming on, and she is real quality. She's gold, mate. She is absolutely lovely. So I've got 3 of them. We've got more coming up. We've got loads. And everybody who has a look, don't forget to hit the subscribe button because it's free. Don't cost you nothing. But it helps us out. So
helps the channel to grow. All the Chelsea dedicate, all the Chelsea loyal out there, subscribe to SW6 Blues Pride of London because it is dedicated to Chelsea.
It's all Chelsea, nothing else. Chelsea.
It's not like this channel where I'm all inclusive. It's dedicated to Chelsea.
And you're doing a good job with the ones you've had on. I watched your Lincoln one the other day. Loved it. Thought it was brilliant.
Oh, Lincoln.
One of your best ones.
Spoke to Martin Gardner. It's on the YouTube channel now. Lincoln Transit Elite. Even though they've been non-league or lower league, they've got a very, very good reputation with other firms around the country.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Whatever reason that is, they've always showed up, gave a good account of themselves. I should have coming on UK Casual soon. What I'm very excited about is an interview with Pompey's Eddie Crispin. That's in the pipeline. There'll be some more interviews coming from UK Casual